Jonathan. Appreciate your presenting. What we do is, thank you very much, Gabe. Let's take up questions from the floor. I think that's very important.
Hi, Dr. Luca. I'd like to ask a question. So if we have a lesson and then we would like to ask the student to design one of the parts of the automotive or let's say engine or something else. But then when they try to fix with what you have in the library, let's say if it didn't fit, so about the tolerance. So there's EON XR will give some alarm or warning saying that this one is not fit or the tolerance is bigger when we try to assemble and also doing some simulation on that.
If you wanted those kinds of details, that would have to be built into the model that's uploaded. So there are some things that you'd have to be able to customize about the model to be able and then upload, like adding the kinds of animations that you wanted.
Yes. So let's say I just took out one part of your from your library, and then I asked them to redesign themselves. So if you like to fit into the current library, so will the EON XR give some notification if what they are designed is out of the tolerance or it doesn't fit?
Yeah. John, do you want to say something about that? I mean, what you're saying is if it doesn't actually, then it can't fit into the platform again.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as John explained to you, actually, it's unlikely that would happen because it accepts so many different formats and so on, and there are always workarounds in any case. So it would probably be okay.
Okay. And then what happened is the student just have designed in 2D. Can it convert it into 3D?
Probably not.
It have to be 3D.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So there is one. Okay, I have to be honest. There is one exception for that, and that's actually for chemistry. We have done because chemistry is they do molecular like Chem 3D, they call it ChemDraw. Like ChemDraw, we actually have the ability to take that 2D diagram to 3D. But unfortunately, when it comes to engineering, there is such thing. So it's unfortunate that we can't. There's no technology that allows us to do that unless it's the software itself that does it. I think what we can do definitely is this. As part of the engagement process, we'll find out what software you use and so forth. We can give you guidance on how to accelerate that into the platform, because the reality is 3D diagrams are exactly 3D diagrams. They're not 2D made into a 3D. There is, of course, photogrammetry using cameras or using a scanner to scan an object into 3 dimensions. There's another. I mean, it's a side point, but that's also something that we can also do. As in, EON XR can actually absorb those kind of scans as well.
Thank you.
Prof. Azmi, do you have any questions?
Okay. Jonathan, let's say we develop our lesson using EON reality software. After we finish develop our lesson using this platform, can it be a standalone platform? Can be run as standalone?
Okay, so let me say, can you play it without the platform later on, is it?
Exactly right. For example, some software, for example, MATLAB, when we develop a coding using a MATLAB, I'm very familiar with MATLAB.
Yep.
So we can code it, compile it, and it can be standalone.
Yep.
Without, so I can play it around without the MATLAB software. It's almost totally independent, unless I want to edit and do some enhancement. And that I need the platform again.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes. So the hard part to answer that is because this is a SaaS platform. So a lot of the features are tied to the platform. So like for example, we talk about the cloud converter just now. if you want to have a collaborative session, if you want to deploy the multiple devices, all that unfortunately is tied to the platform, including the lesson creation part. So if you, unfortunately, it can't really be done as a standalone lesson at this stage. However, if I mean, just on a side point that if people want to just play the lesson, for example, maybe because maybe they don't have connectivity at home. I mean, it has happened to us before. Clients have asked about that. We do have an offline mode for the mobile, meaning that the student just downloads the lesson, they go back to their hometown. Without internet connectivity, they can still access the lesson. But as to export it as a standalone lesson, unfortunately, at this point, we don't have that capability because the features are just tied to the platform itself.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Any more questions? I have actually one question. May I ask? It's not a quick one, I have to admit. uh, it was mentioned that students' learning process best happens when they become their own teacher. So along that line, I would like to know if for the content lesson creation, um, let's say it's initiated by lecturers, naturally, what will be the role of students? Can they provide their inputs to the created lessons to enhance it and to improvise their experience? Probably we have, along the way of developing it or creating it, missed out certain elements or things like that, where the students actually capture that. So how their input would it be as part of the um, they can provide feedback passively, or they can actively involve in improvising the content.
Okay, so maybe before Peter jumps in, because he will take it from the T&L portion of it for sure. Let me. Okay, so my background, by the way, is also in education. So I'm not I'm a technologist, lah, basically. Okay. From the experience we have with the client, so I'm just sharing from that perspective. I think it make it a bit more easier in that sense. The beauty about what EON XR can do, and it really is it's kind of what there's no other product in the market that actually does it. So I'm just speaking in a bit of product speaking as well. There are two key elements here. At least I see it. Sorry, three key elements. Number one, our platform is what you see. So just now what I showed you on the screen, there is no such thing as a student portal, teacher portal. It's all the same. So we kept it simple because it doesn't matter whether you're a teacher or student. If you have the permissions to create the content, you can create the content yourself. So students can create their own lessons. They can collaborate over their own lessons as well, which comes to my second point, which we also build in the ability to have co-editors. So meaning that maybe the teacher had created the lesson. He says that, okay, you know what, guys, I'm going to give you this lesson. I want you to further enhance what you have learned and contribute to this lesson, for example. So he could assign it to the students and make them co-editors. They can edit it. We have not reached the stage where we can do live editing. I just want to caveat with a start. But they can. But basically, everybody can have access to the same lesson and edit it together. As well. They can contribute. The third thing is that we have one client. We have one particular client. We often cite them because they really went all in on this. Where practically the whole entire institution has gone in with the STL method, which means that every student creates their own content. They create the content as part of the curriculum coursework. So they're basically, creating, in a sense, teaching back to the teacher what they've learned, or creating a lesson that could go into the curriculum itself. So that's called co-created curriculum, right, Peter? I think that's the term. So that is also another strategy. So it's not only creating content for coursework or creating content as a reflection journal, but creating content that goes back into curriculum that will be used for the next batch as well. So that's at least our current, or at least my experience working with the other clients that we have around the world. Peter, you want to add on to that?
No, I think you covered it all, John, except that the only thing I would emphasize is to say that, it's all editable. And so that means that, it can be edited by students if they've got permission to do it as well. Yeah.
By the way, all these edits, also on a side point, when we take a 3D model and we create a lesson around this, right, you may want to rename parts of the model, you may want to have more information or less information. All these are non-destructive. right? It means that you can use the same model over and over again. The model will always revert back to its default, but in the lesson you can make those modifications as well. So these are non-destructive edits.
Okay, I think I got very good answers to my concerns just now. So they can participate with certain user permission. They can co-edit and all stuff like that. One last question. It's actually a burning question inside me. How do we incorporate assessment? Is it as a separate model? Is there a module for that for each lesson that we are creating? And is it also editable? You know, how the grades are scored and all that, like.
Okay, so from a technical perspective, so the way we so as part of our roadmap, one thing we didn't talk about today is roadmap. Part of roadmap, we're going to have a new reporting dashboard coming up soon. The reporting dashboard is to give persona-based information. So if I'm a student, I get information that's important to me, like what lessons I've completed, completion rate, activities inside, how did I score. And then for teachers, like, my group of students, I've assigned content to and so forth. And I think you get the idea. As part of that, we do LTI integration with your LMS. That is available today. We can do the LTI integration. What will be coming around the corner is the ability, along with this dashboard, to transfer that data to your LMS. So for us, the way we take it is that because everybody evaluates it slightly differently, right? There's no one universal way of assessment. You may call it ABC, you may grade it on a 1 scale, 1 to 5, you may go by weightage scale and so forth. So the way we do it is that we would transfer that data to your LMS and let your LMS handle it, because then you can set the weightage and so forth.
Great. That's great to know regarding the dashboard and the plan to possibly integrate the dashboard with the LMS. We do have our LMS for UiTM.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So, is there any? John, please.
No, I just want to rehash the earlier point that, remember, if you recall at the beginning, I said that this is not meant to compete with your existing tools and content.
But rather complement.
Yeah, that's right.
All
That's
right.
right.